March 17th, 2008. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, episode 44.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
Dick culture.
Well, you say dick culture?
Dick culture.
I don't think you really want to have
He's
that
a great
dog.
superhero.
That's only
He's
if
a
you're
great private eye.
It's only if you're
He's
Elliot
Dick culture.
Spitzer.
Dick culture's on the scene.
There I was one night staring out the window of my office. A woman came up to the door.
No, some broad walked in my door.
Yep.
Excuse me, Mr. Culture.
That's dick culture.
Dick culture.
I spent $80,000 of your money studying dick culture.
Yes.
That
would not be a good
there's a
choice.
prefecture in Japan that specializes in that.
In protoculture?
In dick culture.
That wouldn't be Obama Japan, would it?
No. Is that the giant balls, those giant cannonballs that they run over, Nobunaga's soldiers with? That Obama?
No.
Not quite.
And John was the only one that...
God, we haven't played that in a long time, man. We should pull that out again. That was so friggin' fun.
If Obama gets elected, you need to play
It was
Obama.
the most unexpected co-op game out there.
Not to mention, most fun I know I played with pinball in a long time.
All right. So,
They just came out with another pinball game.
Really?
They did the Williams collection. The same guys who did the Gottlieb collection one.
Does it have Pinbot on it?
I think it does, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, then it can't
What about
all
Bride
be
of
bad.
Pinbot?
I don't think it had that one.
They were both good games.
So,
You could still get a Bride of Pinbot for about
need a Midway
$1,500
one.
right now.
I need a what?
They need a Midway one.
Well, hopefully they'll keep going along with it.
I can't think of any Midway pinball games off the top of my head. Was it Attack from Mars?
I think they did the Addams Family one,
Yeah.
and
Adam's Family and Twilight Zone, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if they can get the licenses for it to release it on.
Adam's Family and
that wasn't
Pinball.
Midway alone, though. Wasn't that Midway when the
Stern?
It was towards the
No,
end.
it wasn't Stern. It was somebody else.
It was
Gottlieb?
back when Midway got kind of a reprieve with Mortal Kombat, and they were about to die. And
Williams.
they lucked out.
I think it was Williams Midway.
Yeah, they were part of the same company for a while, and I still think the best pinball game was Xenon or was it Master of Illusion? Was a really good one.
I know. I really liked Adam's
I
Family.
loved
Pinball.
Medieval
Was
Madness
Twilight
myself.
Zone
That was
the
one
one
of the
that
great.
had like the little ceramic ball in it?
Yes.
Oh, man, if I could own a pinball machine, that'd be the one.
I'd take
only-
Medieval
the only
Madness or
problem
Attack
with,
from Mars.
The only problem with that Twilight Zone pinball game was that it scored really low. And so when you saw the high scores were like 35, 40 million, it's because it took you an hour and a half to get 35, 40 million. Meanwhile, in Adam's Family pinball game, it was like you could be not looking at the thing and you could get 150 million. So
Oh my God, you hit a bumper.
yeah. Oh, there you go.
Well,
Medieval Madness was cool because you could launch cats and cows and things at the castle wall, and you had to blow the castle up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Good times.
So, anyway, all right. Our first gaming news is Ketsui and Dodonpachi Daiojo Black Label announced for Xbox 360 Japan only.
God damn it.
Not really a shock.
Yeah, I know.
No shmup love for people in America.
I think
Yeah.
they probably
Hey,
look
come on,
at
they came
Senko
out-
no Rande and say, well, that failed pretty well. I guess we're not bringing
Well,
that over here.
yeah.
They came out with Trigger Hard and Celica. I don't know that this is saying we'll never get it.
Yeah.
It's probably just, we'll translate the thing and get on the end of the queue.
When we get a minute.
Yeah.
How hard is it to translate a shmup? I mean,
Apparently
90% of it's in
pretty
English.
Apparently pretty
enough
hard
because
because
you can't
most of them
justify
are
it.
translated poorly.
See Castle Shikigami 2.
No, that's translated brilliantly.
No, it's not.
The triumph of the human spirit.
No, it's the triumph of the human spirit. Okay. So next up, Iron Chef America announced for DS and Wii. Why?
So is this, Cooking
Somebody's got to
Mama
compete with
more
Cooking
yelling?
Mama, yeah.
It's Cooking Mama with a theme ingredient.
Yeah. Theme ingredient being Nintendo.
I did see an interesting article on TV about the Wii and how it's used. This hospital is using it to help people get their motor skills back. And one of the games they were using was Cooking Mama, because it was helping this woman cook again by getting.
They weren't using Trauma Center
again.
Yeah, they should use Trauma Center.
No, that's what they use.
Oh my God! You've carved a pentagram into that man's stomach.
It's like that Robot Chicken where he kills the guy in Operation, and she calls the cops on him, and he kills himself. Damn you, Milton Bradley!
So, our next bit of news, Sony plus Haagen-Dazs equals conspiracy. Apparently, the All I Want for Xmas is a PSP.com mirrors to Haagen-Dazs now.
Wait, come on.
What?
This is like marketing
I think they
film. Firm said, hey, this thing gets 100 hits a day, and we can sell that to somebody.
I think PSP just got creamed.
Yeah.
You have any more bad puns where that came from?
I'm working on them. Get back to me in a minute.
So,
silence is golden.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dreamcast.com, not owned by Sega. This is more of a public service. Dreamcast.com reopens, asks, do you still own a Dreamcast?
Well, but it's not really a public service message at this point because the site's already been down and not accepting submissions for,
Well, it's been up and down for a while now. But basically, don't go there and give your information. It's a domain squatter, and they will use whatever information you give them for whatever.
Those damn domain squatters.
nefarious purposes.
Yeah,
You'll
we
be
have
contributing to terrorism.
Get off my virtual land!
Yeah, well, you're giving them your Dreamcast serial number, so I'm not quite sure what good that does them.
Yeah, what are they going to do with that?
You know, I don't really see what they could do with it anyways. I mean, it's a dead system for all intents and purposes now. What?
I was getting people to sign up for an email account, and you get a bit of information, and you get a password that they may very likely use for every other goddamn site on the internet.
At the most, it was a spam setup, and that's probably your biggest worry.
So, next up, we have dumb quote of the century. Uwe Boll promises to destroy Indiana Jones at the box office. With Postal, we're talking the Indiana Jones 4.
Man, is he getting desperate,
was it
or
Indiana
what?
Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Did they actually release the Dungeon Siege movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was in the theater for like a week.
I don't think it lasted that long.
This is just
Who put that in
Uwe
the
Boll
theater?
knowing that people hate him, and so he said something really stupid so that people would cover it, so he could talk about his movie that nobody
It's free
knew about
publicity.
before now.
Yeah, so his
I
actual...
cry as wolf so often, I'm surprised people even listen anymore.
So he's even crying wolf. This is just a press release.
Yeah.
Self-promotion. His way of doing it, though.
Yeah, his actual quote was, "We will go out and destroy Indiana Jones at the box office." Well, good luck with that.
He then proceeded to take off his shoe, bang it on the podium, and yell, "We will bury you."
And then he called up several postal workers and said, "You need to be at this theater at this time and shoot the place up."
That might be the
Don't
only
give him
way
ideas.
his movie actually gets seen.
Quite likely.
Well, they say it is the best Uwe Boll movie, but that's like saying, well, this
Okay.
poo doesn't stink too badly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're all going to be reading later on about how the shit didn't completely hit the fan.
Yeah.
Some of it missed.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, all he's got going for him is unrelenting crappiness. So,
He's the
Definitely
Roger
doesn't have
Corman of our
investors anymore.
generation.
oh no, Roger Corman was brilliant.
Yeah, compared to
Yeah, don't even
compared to
ruin
Uwe
Roger
Boll,
Corman
Roger
with that.
Corman is like,
Yeah, but this-
Steven Spielberg before he went insane.
Yeah, but this is the movie where you get to see a bunch of bloggers and stuff get the ass kicked out of them.
Yeah, I
So
saw
that's
that in
gotta-
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
I saw a movie last night. It was about waitstaff, basically. I don't know what it was called. It was on Comedy Central.
It was called Shenanigans.
Yeah, or something. It was at Shenanigans or something. But you know what that movie was? That movie was Mallrats. In an Applebee's.
In a restaurant?
Yeah. Like, it was really obvious that the main character was supposed to be played by the guy who played Brody in Mallrats. I can't remember his name.
Wasn't that Jason
Lee.
Yeah.
And it was like a early Kevin Smith movie without the funny.
Damn.
Yeah.
There's a reason Kevin Smith wrote those things, because he could bring the funny.
Yeah,
Apparently
whoever
other people
wrote
think
this
they can do
could
that,
not.
too.
I mean,
It
it
might
was
sound like
even
Kevin Smith talking to himself, but at least they're funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it even had like a Jay and Silent Bob pair that were also not funny.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, At least with Jay and Silent Bob, even the early incarnations, they were,
occasionally broke into
funny.
rap. That was always a good time.
I think that was an explanation for the Fat Boys movie, too.
Well, they were trying to be Kevin Smith, and they couldn't pull it off because they weren't
broke
Kevin
into
Smith.
rap, and it was supposed to be a good time.
Oh.
That's quite a stretch, Bri.
Yeah, well.
Sounds like the Beastie Boys story.
I'm a little old.
It's like My Life with
Beastie
the Thrill
Boys is
Kill
more
Cult.
like a video. Just one long video.
Not really sure what that has to do with My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, but keep in mind, so I said it.
Next up.
So I have no filter on my brain when I do the podcast.
Thank you, Homer.
Next up, Imagination is the only escape. Educating the Holocaust on the DS.
But imagination was the
not
weapon.
another World War II game. Seriously, is that genre just like mined to death?
Apparently not. It hasn't been mined to death on the portable systems yet.
So here's the deal with this game. It follows a young Jewish boy living in France during the Nazi occupation of World War II. In order to escape the horrors around him, he imagines a fantasy land that becomes the basis of the game's world. The adventure platform will attempt to educate players on the atrocities experienced by many children during the time of the Holocaust.
This game will suck. It would have been better if he had been part of the French French Resistance.
Is this the same people that did the Civil War one on the 360?
No, I don't know.
That was the History Channel.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was a real-time first-person shooter. Let me load the musket.
How many times can you... I mean...
It wasn't bad enough we got bored by that shit in high school, but now we got to play a game that does the same thing.
They did a second one set in the War in the Pacific. So.
I saw that. Yeah, it's on sale already.
Yeah, his channel needs to stick to doing TV and not.
There's a reason we embellish history. It's more fun.
Or if they can't pull off a real FPS, just turn your game into a rail shooter. Be a good time.
We haven't had a
colonial version of Rez. Is that what you want?
We haven't had a
we're
version
thinking more
of
Earth Defense Force.
more Rebel Assault. Haven't had a good Rebel Assault version in a long time.
And it needs to have the Wilhelm stream in there somewhere.
Didn't work out.
So do we have
We
any
need to go back to snow speeders and A-wings?
So do we have any opinion of this game?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Next.
Because it's not done, nobody's seen it, and people are just talking about it because it's, Holocaust. Oh, no, Jews.
Yeah, exactly. Next.
Next gen Mortal Kombat game coming this year. ASTASF, a sequel to a successful franchise. Shocking.
The acronym's never going to catch on.
I know it won't.
And it's not really pronounceable. It's
ASTASF.
ASTASF.
It is
ASTASF.
Sounds like an insurance company. ASTASF.
It is an insurance company. ASTASF.
Yeah.
So, more than likely, it will be 3D and have fatalities. That's all I know.
Yeah, because that worked out last time.
It'll probably have an adventure mode.
I mean, that really worked out for
It'll be the
War
best
Gods.
game that Midway has come out with in 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is not saying much.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Couldn't let it go, could they?
Capcom afraid of new IPs, plans sequels and remakes galore.
Yeah, this
So, in other
isn't
words,
news.
no change?
Yeah.
Well, 2 Bionic Commando games, a new 1942 called 1942 Joint Strike. It is a shmup. And War of the Battlefield Commando 3.
Wolf of the Battlefield?
Yeah.
They should have called it Operation Wolf of the Battlefield 1942
Well,
Commando
they should have
3.
called it Cabal.
Yes.
But Wolf of the Battlefield Commando 3, otherwise known as, sequel to Mercs.
Otherwise known as Get Into the Super Street Fighter beta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Commando 3, 1942 is the one I'm really looking forward to. Probably won't play it online because I know someone will steal my power-ups. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And Bionic Commando looks pretty sweet.
We'll see.
It has to have Hitler at the end.
It looks like it's got a guy with a robot arm and he kind of swings around. I mean, if you want to play Spider-Man, that's cool and all.
You have no love.
Or you could just play Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Spider-Man sucks and Bionic Commando is cool. And you know why?
Because one's made by a company that you're a bitch for.
No. Because
No.
No.
Yeah.
No,
How many Capcom games do you own? How many versions of Street Fighter do you own?
Only half of this
2
game collection.
billion.
Yeah.
Does that include my Mega Man collection?
Yes.
It includes your Chun-Li porn collection.
Now, wait a minute. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Capcom already
He knows
Denied
nothing
any
about the
acceptable-
life-size wall scroll of Chun-Li in his room.
Yeah, we won't even talk about the pillow.
Yes. Yep.
No,
Yeah.
no. Bionic Commando is a better
also has
game
a
than
Bionic
there has
Commando
never
pillow.
been a good Spider-Man game. Never. No good Spider-Man game. There's a good Bionic Commando.
Give it up.
I can't
There
win
hasn't
this.
been a good Bionic Commando game in 20 years.
Well,
There
that
hasn't been a Bionic
Exactly.
in
20
20 years.
At least they're trying with Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, they all
Yeah,
suck.
Do or do not, there is no
Spider-Man 2?
try.
They
What
did.
You played Spider-Man 2?
And Capcom did not.
The
Capcom just
versions
was
they've
biding
done
their
have been
time.
open
They were
world.
just
Capcom
waiting
was
for
too
the right
busy
moment.
re-releasing Street Fighter 17 times.
Are you done, Steve?
I'll never be done with Comcast or Comcast.
Comcast.
It's Capcom. It's Capcom tick.
it's craptacular.
Yes.
Woo!
Capcom
Doing
stick.
shit all over again.
Crapcom stick.
What else do you got?
All right. Steve goes on a rampage and kills every gamer known to man.
No, just the ones that work at Capcom. Anyway.
You like a Capcom games? Yeah, well, they're okay. Wrong answer.
A new Valkyrie profile has been announced. It's called Valkyrie Profile: The Accused One. The subtitle on this is Destiny by Sinner Sought, Tragedy by Power Rot, whatever the hell that
Are they
means.
just going for another
Did you
long
get to
title
the
award or
yet?
what?
Yeah.
Well,
Is that an iambic pentameter?
No.
Does it fit on the box?
Yes.
Are you sure?
It's around the
Yeah, that's
logo.
why they couldn't
it's
afford the
around,
picture.
It's around the logo, like the Nerve logo from Eva.
Right.
Once again, it's Japanese gibberish. We have no idea what it means. And the translations for Valkyrie Profile have been suspect at best. So
Popcorn sunglasses.
that's
I don't know,
Splinter
at this
Cell.
point, it's so endemic. I'm starting to blame the Japanese instead of the translators.
Well, you
Yeah.
you also were looking at what was it? Disgaea 3.
Yeah, PS3 exclusive.
You do not want to see the Japanese symbols for that title.
There's kanji in there that hasn't been discovered yet. Apparently,
It's like some sort of religious thing.
The one I'm excited
It's
about though,
kanji
is
that
the
hasn't been
Valkyrie
used
profile. It's
since
the Valkyrie,
the 2nd century
Attendance, I think,
BC.
or- which looks like it's going to be a fascinating game that has nothing to do with Valkyrie Profile.
I'm looking forward to the DS version of Disgaea. For nothing else, you get to touch Etna.
Congratulations.
Not really.
It's not a witch touching game.
I don't think
you-
you're supposed to admit that.
You don't really get to touch,
I know that.
It's not like VR. VR troopers.
Moving on.
We are VR.
New StarCraft 2 video shows Zerg Koreans.
So they know their audience.
So any opinion on the StarCraft 2 trailer, Brian?
The Koreans
Fucking I'm
cute?
going to buy this the day it's out.
Isn't this
I
just
don't
going
know.
to be
Can't wait to
StarCraft
play
again?
this game.
I mean, they
Yes.
can't really change the gameplay too much or nobody's going to buy it.
Well, they've changed it enough that it's still old school, but it's added new.
Did they get rid of the limit for number of selectable units?
I think so. I got to assume. I looked at how many Zerg were on the screen in one of the videos, and there had to be like 150 of them. So I don't know.
But they let you have like huge Zerg rushes before. You just had to do them in groups.
Yeah, but I mean, these are. I don't know. It's different. It's really pretty looking too. I mean, it actually gives
sure
you
it's
the
It's not
feeling.
like Blizzard's going to release a crappy looking game.
Well, no,
Yeah.
not that. Not I don't mean by looks, but by definition. I mean, when you played the original StarCraft, the Zerg rush didn't seem that formidable. I mean, you could make a lot of them, but you could stop them. In this version of it, shut the fuck up. In this version of it, I mean, you can have so many Zerg. It really does look like you can't stop them. I mean, they're a formidable force to have, and you actually want to play them over the other two of them because they could be that overpowering. I got the feeling that it was going to be a lot more fun to play with some of the new units they brought, especially the Titan. The Titan is that huge robot that you can build on the spot, and it can do multiple things. It's a huge walker. But they've got neat little functions too, like you can use your supply depots as blockades, and then you could lower them into the ground when your base gets attacked to protect them. I mean, there's super little functional things in this that are just totally cool. I'm really psyched about it.
But if they make it, if they're making it for their core audience, it's once again going to be RTS chess. There's going to be one best way to play the game in order to win, and if you don't play that one best game, you're going to lose.
I don't think so. I think
that's
it depends
their core
on
audience. Otherwise, the Korean core audience isn't going to play it.
I would agree with that only if there's one best way, but it's different for each faction because each one has a different ability. I mean, the Zerg, obviously, you want to just build up mass and rush, but with the Protoss, it's not as... The Protoss are more espionage and
But that was the kind of the way you had to do it. I mean, there was one best way in StarCraft to do everything. You knew how to do it. It was whoever got to do that one best way fastest. There wasn't a whole lot of place for creativity in your
a lot
RTS
of RTSs are that way. I think they just give you more... The ability to change that now. There's a little bit more you can do in the new version of it.
No,
I don't know.
It's just going to be prettier.
So reader
Could be,
trivia
but I don't
challenge.
care. I'm still going to buy it. It looks like a lot of fun.
Or listener trivia challenge. Figure out which one of us will buy the game when it releases.
You have 5 seconds. I love StarCraft. I played the shit out of that game when I first got it. And I was back in, I don't know, 95, 96.
Were you using a DOS prompt to get into it?
No, it came after that, thank God.
It's Blizzard. It's not like they're well known for releasing things rapidly.
But it was either that or Total Annihilation, and they were both great games. They're still fun to play.
The best AI games where you actually had to, outthink your opponent, that was an AI, was Crush, Kill, and Destroy. Because it actually did different stuff on the same missions every time.
Yeah, the AI was a little more creative.
It's like, there's something challenging there.
All right.
Then I don't have to interact with other people.
But it's
well,
getting
you
to
don't
the
have
point
to interact
now
with other people anyway.
Well, that's my point.
It's getting to the point now where it's not that way. I mean, we just downloaded a new AI for Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. And somebody out there went and designed their own AI that actually is smarter, more intuitive than the computer's design that the game developer did. And it actually makes the game more fun because it makes the computer do less stupid things. Like on original Forged Alliance, the computer would build up a ton of fucking robots on an island, and he would just keep building until he reached his cap, and they're all sitting on this island doing nothing. It was stupid.
Yeah, but it's not the game designer doing that. I mean,
it's
somebody else.
The AI. So
no. I mean, it's not the game designer making the game better. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, this was some guy.
I don't count it if somebody else hacked the game to make it better.
Well,
it's got to be the game designer making the game. I don't want to go
looking for
more stuff.
That's just my point, though. The fact is that games are evolving to the point now where anybody can go out there that has the ability to do so, can go out and improve a game, put it up online. People can download that AI, put it into their data sheet, and all of a sudden the game is a whole new game because it's more smart, it's more intuitive.
The vast majority of players aren't going to go looking for that, so it really doesn't count.
Well, you say that, but I mean, look at all the people out there that have done stuff for Counter-Strike, and it's gotten so popular.
Yeah, but Counter-Strike's been around for 10 years and was a mod to begin with, and they just bought it and re-released it.
Exactly, but that started it, though. And
that's
now a lot
unique.
Of people... If you let me fucking finish.
It's unique, and you know it's unique.
It's unique, but it's still happening, and more people are doing it. In fact, and some of these people that are doing it are actually going out there and becoming companies because they did such a good job on modding stuff. They can do stuff on their own now, and they're being recognized for it.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying, but the fact is it's still happening. It may be slow and it may be unique, but a lot of people are starting to look out there for more stuff. And some of these companies are... Well, I don't think it's going to be a niche thing for long because I'm looking at all these games coming out like Little Big Planet, and they're making games so creative that you can go in and change things and make your own levels. A lot of PC games are making level editors so easy that anybody can go in and do it.
This is like
and they're making whole new
argument
games.
with Spore, though. It's like...
Spore is totally designed that way, but...
Yeah, it's like, they could have given us a game. Instead, they're making us make it.
Yeah,
which is not their complaint about it.
Well, take that with a grain of salt. I mean, if you don't want to spend the time on it, don't buy the fucking game.
Creatures came out 10 years ago, and you could do that, and it died. I mean, it killed the company.
Well, maybe it was too early. Maybe now's the time to do it. Maybe people want something more. Maybe they want something to be more creative.
They've got more casual gamers, and casual gamers don't want to mess with mods. I guarantee you that.
I think
we'll see by the game sales.
What's a casual gamer?
The top 10% kind of
Don't
thing.
even start there.
Because it's like you talk about Sims, you talk about Valve, and if you have the #1 best-selling game for a year running, people probably want to do some mods for it, and it's good to build that support in.
Yeah.
If you're part of the 99.99% of the rest of the game population, probably not worth the effort.
Yeah.
Apparently Sims is doing something right because people keep buying them.
Yeah, but the expansion packs are easy to put in.
Yeah, you can buy them at Target. You know, that's the difference there.
Yeah,
is that
you don't have to go into the registry to try to make it work.
You don't have to download it from some website that you've never heard of before. You go to Target and go, well, I have to get air freshener and Kleenex, and I'll put an expansion for Sims.
Yeah, but a lot of these things are getting easier. You can go to these websites that are just fan-based sites, and
it's just you're totally right for you're totally right for the 5% of the population that wants to do that.
I
but
know
for the rest of the population of gamers,
but
it's not even
that's
going
to change though, and I think it's changing by developers actually making the game so easy for you to change on your own now that it's becoming more mainstream. Granted, it's not going to happen overnight, and we're maybe not even in 5 years, but it's going to be to that point where people can go in and change things like Little Big Planet, and they can create the whole game themselves so that it's never a boring game.
Yeah, but when
you're not getting
burned
burned out,
just end up
it.
with a lot of crappy stuff. Because it's still there's just
people
that do.
You remember the mods for
that can
Doom?
be said about any game. That's
How,
out there. I mean,
how many
always
bad
that's
map packs are there for Unreal?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not then how you find the content; it's how you find the good stuff.
Well, hey, when you find the way to make a perfect game where everybody enjoys it, believe me, you'll be a millionaire, I'm sure. But until then, other people are going to
until everyone steals your game.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, because we've talked about Koreans for another time.
I wasn't even talking about Koreans yet.
For a long time.
Well, you were talking about the Zerg, so Zerg equals Koreans.
OMG,
Actually,
Zerg
I watched the
Rush,
StarCraft Championships, and very few Koreans play the Zerg. They always play Terrans or Protoss because they're a lot more efficient. Don't ask me why. It's just it's funny because...
Unlike the actual Koreans. Oh, wait.
OMG.
Zomig.
Zerg Rush.
KKKK. All right. Next up, new edition of Lost Planet isn't going to be multiplayer compatible with original release because of John?
Well, that's a good question.
We'll get back to you on the next podcast, I guess.
Well, it'd be nice if we knew why. I assume they changed some stuff, so it doesn't work anymore.
And odds are it's probably even worse for the PS3 players.
This seems like a bad decision.
We just got the game.
No, this isn't for the PS3 players because Xbox players weren't going to be able to play with the PS3 players anyway. However, the
PS3 players are still going to get shafted regardless.
On this one, it's going to work with both the 360 and the PC for cross-platform, but it's not going to work with the previous version of the game that released on the 360.
Who did Lost Planet?
Capcom.
Uh-huh.
What's your point?
Uh-huh. I feel we've come full circle here. Not only have they re-released their own game again, but they've re-released it so if you want to play it, you have to buy it again.
They've added some new features to it and all, but it does seem kind of odd that
it's 1080i native now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how odd it is when it doesn't sell.
I just like the joystick Photoshop of the cover for Lost Planet. It's just a picture of the Earth in a maze, and the Earth has a big question mark over it. All right. So
it looks a lot like epic fail.
Stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next up. And this is from the pulling numbers out of our ASS department, possibly. 7.5% of MMORPG players end up with sex, crushing reality of real-world relationships, herpes.
So
come on. If MMORPG players are having sex with each other, they're probably the lowest risk group for STDs.
Yeah, this is probably true.
And it's probably more often virtual sex than not.
What was their sample space for this? Are we talking Tales in the Desert MMORPG players here?
All right, well, here's
sort of the New World population, maybe?
Here is what I pulled from the website. It says, researchers at Nottingham Trent University in the UK found that 3/4 of online role players form close relationships with those they meet in their online worlds, with 1 in 10 of those connections culminating in real-world coitus. How two men in fursuits and armor have coitus is beyond me.
Trent University.
You got nothing.
So we call it like Jumpgate. Jumpgate has like 40 people logged in at this point.
Well, your chances are pretty good then.
Yeah.
Space sex.
Back in the
how
day...
many of them are banging each other?
I don't know.
4.
4, apparently.
4.5?
1 in 10.
Hey, those are pretty good odds.
The back in the day of when EFNet was the only IRC network, the Bay Area, Pound Bay Area, had actually a chart that somebody made in a CAD program of which members of that channel had slept with each other. So it was actually pretty impressive.
So if you take MMORPGs as just a thinly veiled graphical shell over a chat channel, then Hey,
Yeah.
anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
It's a visual chat channel.
It was actually kind
visual.
of, you felt like you might get AIDS just from going on Pound Bay area. There were so many people sleeping with each other.
Pound Bay area.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I think the name says it all.
Antibiotic-resistant staff.
/ gay sex here.
Yeah.
I wonder what the numbers are for Second Life.
Well,
Second to none, apparently.
Second Life kind of reminds me of the old mushes. Actually, it's exactly like the old mushes, except prettier, where people would get married online, and that just is. I'm really
Talk about your cheap wedding.
I have this love-hate relationship with Second Life. I mean, on one hand, wow, that's really lame. On the other hand, you read through Snow Crash and you realize you're just reading about Second Life, except 10 years before it came out. I mean, the description is almost exactly the same, down to the point where they talk about people walking around with penis avatars.
So I guess that's what we get out of user-generated content.
Yeah.
Furries.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else picked up on that and made a bunch of money and created a Second
That makes
Life.
me kind of afraid.
I don't
of
know how
the
much
big planet
Linden.
now.
I wonder how much Linden Labs makes money. How much money they
$40
make.
billion.
Yeah, they want you to think that, but I wonder how much money they really make.
They have to make enough money to actually keep up Second Life servers. So I know it's.
Well,
they have to be making something.
I don't know.
It ain't free.
It beats the living crap out of me.
All right. So that's it for our gaming news.
And what news it was.
Shocking, stunning, suspenseful.
So our
Next week we'll kill Batman.
So our topic that was provided to us by our good friend John.
Oh no, blame me.
Blame him.
Are any of us ready to buy a PS3 yet, Steve?
Are the non-Psyche systems $200 yet?
Let me get out the Access database program I have to figure out what PS3s are out, and I'll get back with you.
I think there's 7 systems listed on their Wikipedia page.
I believe the cheapest is still $400, however. So
Yeah.
No is the answer.
I will,
Then
however,
no.
buy a new PSP by June.
Are you getting the new Slim model?
Yeah, I was going to buy the God of War pack-in.
When's that come out?
I think it's middle of June. It's been listed. It's got the Kratos face on the back of it.
I'd
That's
like
pretty
to
sweet.
be in the middle of June. Okay.
Hi-yo! Know what he's talking about? Nope. John?
I don't know. They're finally starting to come up with some exclusives that are interesting, but
Yeah, it's still not enough,
$400.
yeah.
$400.
I'm really excited about Little Big
$400.
Planet, but it just can't justify it.
I
It's
feel
funny, there's actually more of their games that are going to be downloadable that are exciting to me than the actual games you can go buy, you know?
This is like when I went and I bought the 3DO. Oh, wait, I never bought a 3DO.
Well, I guess that's nothing like it then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually exactly like it.
So far, yes.
Yes.
I don't know how the 360 looked more justifiable at the same price point, though.
Gears of War. That's how it looked justifiable.
It did for me because I got a $100 rebate on it, so it was really
Well, I got
Well,
like
mine on
$199.
sale too. So.
Yeah, I got mine, at my
Yeah,
percent of
Apparently,
money off, so.
$400 really is just too
Yeah.
expensive for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And
God, man.
If there's
What?
anything the high def format war has taught me, it's how to not care.
Yeah. It really just was not that exciting.
Okay.
I really, on one hand, was hoping HD would win because it was so much cheaper just to go buy an HD player to add on to the 360.
Exactly.
I was kind of hoping that HD would win just because I don't like Sony.
Yeah, Sony's
You know?
formats have always failed too. This is the first one to succeed. So
All right.
it's kind of
Well,
a breaker.
succeed relatively.
All right,
I
so-
mean, great, you sold like a lot more than HD, but orders of magnitude less than any given DVD sale rate in a month.
All right, so here's the deal. First of all, I'm not ready to buy a PS3 because if I need an Excel spreadsheet to figure out what models are out,
Yeah.
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention the fact they're getting rid of everything that's great. There's no backwards compatibility on them anymore.
So according to Wikipedia,
Well,
there are
backwards
two.
compatibility
There's
to
two.
software.
There's two
Instead of
retail
hardware.
configurations for the PlayStation 3. There's the 40 gigabyte, which is still in production since October 2007, and the 80 gigabyte, which is in production from August 2007.
And you can still find the 60s out there. They're still selling
Yeah.
through the stock.
So the thing is, the 40 gigabyte has two USB 2.0 ports, no flash card,
Faster.
Chrome trim, SACD support,
Wow,
no.
chrome trim. Does it have spinners too?
Yeah. The 40 gigabyte one does not
It has
have
LEDs around its video gaming plate.
Yeah. The 40 gigabyte PS3 does not have PS2 compatibility. And then there's the 80 gig, which has everything, including PS2 compatibility through software emulation.
Yeah, it's kind of got PS2 compatibility. The 60 gig is the one that has, I think, the best
PS2
one.
in it.
Well, it has the Emotion engine, but it's no longer in. It's no longer made, but
Which was actually, that got people to actually buy some of the 60 giggers when they announced that. They're like, oh crap.
Yeah, because that one had the Emotion engine and the graphic synthesizer, and then the
I was actually tempted to buy one at one
just
time
had the
just to
graphic
get it before they
synthesizer.
got rid of all the goodies out there, but I kind of passed that up too.
yeah.
I don't know. Can we wait 5 minutes and see if they release another SKU?
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
They even said in an article somewhere, I remember reading that that wasn't totally out of phase. They were still considering going back to that at some point, but
So, according to the current pricing, the 40 gig is $399, the 80 gig is $499. So, still way out of my price range.
Why would I want to buy a PS3 without any PS2 compatibility? Why would I want to do that?
Well, and have they started releasing them with the PS3 Dual Shock, Triple Shock?
Yeah, well, they're just now releasing them with the DualShock 3, but that's not going to show up in any of the new boxes for at least a couple months or so. They just announced it not more than
I just
a week
saw
ago.
them for sale individually, sometime this last week.
Well, they just got through that whole immersion lawsuit thing.
Well, yeah, like a year ago, but
Yeah.
I mean, it just contributes
Well, they
to my
just
whole
finished
impression
paying
that the thing
for
is a
it.
clusterfuck.
Well,
It's like, right, you're changing out the controller during your console life cycle.
Yeah,
Good
it's
choice.
awesome. Way to go! Way to play to those console strengths of consistent hardware. And
so
Sony is anything but consistent.
but
that's for sure.
back to the topic.
the answer is apparently no.
Yeah, I'm not ready to buy a PS3. There's only 2 games that I'm half interested in, and that's not enough for me to spend $400 on a system.
My rule has got to be 6 or more.
Well, there isn't
$200 is
even
a pretty good
games,
line.
so there's
I would-
nothing I'm interested in.
I could
even
have
their
like-
virtual, even their
even
PlayStation
feasible.
Network
Well,
games. I'm not
I could
interested
half
in.
like a half dozen games and buy a system for $200. Especially particularly if they would play my old PS2 games.
Yeah,
that would
that's
that
a
would
good
make
selling
me would
point to
at
me.
$200.
But I mean, you can
even
spend
if it's
$99 on a PS2.
I could, but if I half like a bunch of games for the PS3, then it makes me more willing to pay for the PS3
Yeah.
at $200.
Fix it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, but at $200,
You just play it in your
I can't
computer
do
with
it
an
at
emulator.
$400. I just can't.
Yeah.
There's nothing to
I
justify
mean,
the
I
price.
can't look at Layer and go, oh yeah, I really want to buy a game that has clipping in it. It's clipping in the foreground, for Christ's sake.
You could be playing Star Fox.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, Star Fox didn't have clipping.
No, it did not. Star Fox was a solid game all around.
Well,
On
the polygons
on
were
NES.
solid. Yes, you are correct.
Yes, on the NES. It's where I learned to do a barrel roll.
was
You
the-
learned
that was
you
the
learned that from
N64.
Donkey Kong.
No, the Star Fox for the
Super NES.
Super Nintendo. That was the first
Super
one.
Nintendo, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think you said NES.
With
I was
polygons.
Well,
Well, technically, the first polygon game was
What do they
Tempest,
call
but
that special chip in Star
the
Fox?
Super
on the
FX
Super
chip.
NES?
yeah.
like, Yep.
That and what was the other game that came out with that? Stunt Track FX was the other game that came out that used that chip.
Yeah, I never played that one.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
Played Super Star Wars.
A lot of people played Super Star Wars.
Because it
Oh,
had
yeah.
Star Wars in the name.
That actually wasn't a bad game, but was really hard.
It was a difficult game, especially when you're trying to get up the Sandcrawler. That was difficult.
Well, true. So anyway, so none of us want to buy a PlayStation 3.
Correct.
Thanks,
Make it
Sony,
cheaper,
for
Sony.
making it.
Yeah, make it cheaper and don't make it suck. Okay.
Your competition has, alternately decided to do crappy graphics and or make horribly unreliable consoles, and we still don't like you.
Yeah. What does that tell you?
And Nintendo's beating you.
Manage to
But
have
then
a
again, they only
consistent
have
set of
one
hardware for
SKU.
6 months, and I'll start thinking about it.
So,
It's like buying a Mac. You buy it, and like 3 weeks later, they put out a better one.
is this your first Apple you've bought?
No.
And you can't upgrade.
Yeah. And you
Well,
can't
you can
upgrade.
kind of, sort of upgrade.
Yeah, well, you sell your entire computer and buy a new one. That's their
Well,
idea
no.
of upgrading.
No, I can.
Because you can't even keep your screen. The fucker's built in.
Yeah.
No, I can plug it in.
You could totally upgrade. Of course, you're voiding your warranty by upgrading anything worthwhile, but you can upgrade.
Yeah. Add a super drive to your MacBook Air. That's an upgrade.
Or you could, install it on non-Apple hardware. That'd be an upgrade.
Yeah. Or you could not buy an Air. That's like an upgrade in itself.
Yeah. The only
Did
system.
you read that article about the guy whose wife threw his Air away? Because it was in a stack of magazines. She didn't know it was there. It was like a writer for the New York Times, his MacBook Air.
Oh, God.
And it was in a big stack of magazines on the table, and she picked them all up, and she tossed them in the garbage. And he couldn't
That's
find it for like
hilarious.
3 days, and he put two and two together and figured out she had tossed it in the garbage. Like, see, that's
That's brilliant.
that's just one example of why making really thin laptops is a bad idea.
They were meant to be a certain size for your protection.
You should have had it in a manila envelope so it looked important.
Yeah,
Yes.
thinking about that a minute ago.
With a thing marked confidential on it.
So,
Do not fold, spindle, or mutilate.
do not
Maybe
install.
do if you run a hardware website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, I've got a triple threat review where I try and do 3 reviews in less than 60 seconds.
Yeah, except you picked easy games to do that for. So
That's
maybe
why
I'll
I'm
do that.
doing 3 under 60 seconds.
You're like saying this is like a...
All right. So I need a countdown sound effect, something from, say, the $25,000 pyramid to do this. So I need. It's like bink,
that's Turgo.
bink,
Yeah, I know.
bink, bink. So someone needs to.
What
do
you
it for
really
60.
need is the thing from 24.
Yeah, man, that's a great sound effect.
Previously on Diehard Gamer Radio.
So does someone have a 60-second countdown for me?
Zoe! Oh. I need a review, quickly.
Okay.
The president's calling.
All right. Someone. All right. So
Jack, the president's calling. He needs a review of a shmup.
What do
Damn
you
it,
know
I'm all
about
out of
shmups? Damn near everything.
I'm going to have to behead a developer.
what's this guy's hitbox, Jack? Well, all right.
Tell me what your hitbox is. How do you do a barrel roll?
I don't know if it's
We have
Jack
5
Bauer asking,
terrorist
it's
women
probably the
all
groin.
with rose names. What is this? Black Dioju?
What is this game? It's Battletoads. Thanks.
Battletoads.
All right. So 60 seconds, 3 games are all the Bit Generations games. I picked them up cheap from Play Asia. So here are all.
Relatively speaking, I mean, you bought like Flash games for $20 a piece.
Quiet you.
No, actually, a couple of them were $9.99.
Oh, there you go.
John, what? This is why we can't have nice things.
You didn't buy nice things.
All right. So here we go. 60 seconds on the clock. Bit Generations Boundish.
Try again.
Next game.
60 stage. You fail! All right.
You know, aren't you the one with the computer sitting right in front of you? Isn't that a 60-second timer?
Yeah, I could probably do
Oh,
that. Yeah. All right. So
Oh, my God.
here we go. Okay, so Bit Generations Boundish, basically a new generation of Pong, but the game really sucks. Not worth the price of admission, pretty lousy, not great graphics.
Once
blah,
again,
blah,
Flash
blah.
game.
Yeah. Bit Generations DigiDrive, the best, one of the best ones out of the ones I bought. DigiDrive being a puzzle game, move things into various slots, match shapes, very
Put it in her slot, dude.
yeah. Very interesting and very different puzzle game. Actually, the one that I got the most enjoyment out of, worth the price of admission. Bit Generations DOTSTREAM racing game. Very well done, but does get a little getting used to.
Yeah.
But that's also a solid game, and that's also worth the price. So,
It's actually quite a bit of fun. I enjoyed DOTSTREAM, too.
DOTSTREAM and DigiDrive are the ones to pick up. Skip Boundish. That was under 30 seconds. Next.
And you didn't get the other 2 games in the series because...
They are out of print right now.
Oh, really? I love this
as far
puzzle
as
game. That's a lot of fun.
well, Bit Generations, Sound Voyager, and I believe the other one is Orbital.
Yeah.
I know Play Asia was out of stock on both of those, but they come in and out of print kind of on a regular basis. So if I don't get them there, I'm sure I can find them at Game Force Boulder or
So-
NCS.
too, yeah.
Explain to me why they haven't released a $20 cartridge with all of them on it.
I don't know. It would seem to make sense to put them all on a DS cart, but
Yeah.
I mean they're all in they're all in English, so they've been translated. Why they haven't, I don't know.
Alrighty then.
I don't know if they just couldn't find an audience for them or what. I guess it could
Simple
be just
games with bright colors. There's no console that cares about that shit.
Well,
It's the dogs.
It's more of just I think it's just more of just the design of the games, as they're very abstract, so it may not appeal. I guess I don't know if there's an appeal for that type of stuff
gems
here.
is pretty abstract.
Well, yeah, but you can tell they're gems. I mean, here they're just like colored squares, so people may look at it.
I've never had a puzzle game with colored squares that did well.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Yeah.
It even came from commies.
What does that even mean?
Commies?
Yeah.
The Reds.
Tetris.
All right.
Tetris.
All right.
Do I have to- it's not funny if I have to explain it.
Okay, so now in Cyrillic, is the
funny.
backward R actually pronounced R?
Ask Pasty.
Just
Is he
wondering.
secretly Russian or dating one? Or?
He took Cyrillic for a while.
Cyrillic for a while.
Whoa.
Not Russian, just
Just like Cyrillic. Yeah, he doesn't
Guy's
really
an
know any
electrician
Russian.
And apparently a man of many other weird talents.
That's an interesting educational choice.
Yeah, I don't really know how that works, but
Yeah,
he
if
doesn't
you're
really know any
dyslexic,
Russian.
don't learn Cyrillic.
He just knows
Well,
Das
you know,
Vidania. That's about it. So,
He reads Pravda once in a while.
Latin class was all filled, so no one was left well. So
Comrade, you don't read Pravda?
I should have gone for Sanskrit. Bitches love Sanskrit.
Yes.
Yeah, the bitches love Sanskrit.
All right,
The
so
bitches love Assyrian.
do any of you have reviews?
No.
I'm still doing Cold Sept and Patapon
I mean,
and Age of Empires 3.
I've actually been playing San Andreas for the first time, and
All right, so tell us about this game you should have played 3 years ago.
well, I played GTA
3 years
3, and
No,
it took me
okay.
like 5 years to want to play another one.
Okay, so
about right.
John, before you begin,
Understandable.
when you played San Andreas, did you turn into someone who loves prostitutes, someone who goes around shooting people at random, and
somebody
have you
likes
been
hot
involved in any hot coffee scandals?
I turned into an angry man who hates their combat system.
Well,
With a
that's
passion.
because the
I've never
interface
liked
for
that
GTA
either.
sucks.
Well,
It's so awful. I mean, I can like the game
three
more-
people surrounded you with a gun, how well would you do? Maybe it's just realistic.
No,
Or
it's
maybe
more
when
like
you've got
No.
a knife and you've got to try and run up to the guy, and it's like, oh no, fuck, targeting didn't work.
There.
Oh,
Have you
wait,
tried
now
stabbing
moving
someone
too
with a knife,
slow.
John?
dude, it's the polar opposite of the control scheme in Assassin's Creed. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's,
you're adept in Assassin's Creed. You're just some bum crook.
yeah,
in
but you
San
don't get any
Andreas.
better in San Andreas.
Oh,
Uh,
so there's no skill tree involved then.
well, they do have skills.
They do,
The
but
most entertaining one was when I maxed out my pimping skill. That was a good time.
Ah. Does this transfer into real life?
No,
Oh.
it's a
He's
video game.
officially a pusher.
You remember video games, not like real life, don't make you shoot people? You
Yeah.
gotta toe the party line on this one.
So Ace Attorney will not make me into a lawyer, and Cooking Mama will not make me into a great cook.
Correct.
Okay.
Leisure Suit Larry won't turn me into.
Playing Street Fighter will not make me a martial artist.
No. You might become a better thumb wrestler, though.
It will turn you into a carpal tunnel victim.
Woo!
Well, that's Picto Chat on the DS.
But I don't know. For what's such a mainstream game, San Andreas gets fun when it's easy. But man, as soon as they try and make you do something that requires really, doing much of anything with their fucking controls,
Yeah,
or
it sucks ass.
got to retry bullshit again and again,
It's pretty much exactly what Gabe and Tycho said. They said they really enjoyed it until the lousy controls or horrible cameras screwed you out of something. Then you just get in the car and listen to all the radio stations and then trade it in.
Did you hear that, Roger and Angry John? Your game sucks.
Yeah. I got nothing this week, but I did get a copy of Neo Geo Battle Coliseum in the mail today, so
For the American version?
PS2, yeah.
Ah.
And strangely enough, I did import it from a guy in Canada.
What do you need to work for a video. You need to work for a game store. You seem to find games just in the weirdest places. You need
just
to be
the
like a
best possible
distributor.
sources, man. The
You
NG
need-
forums are
get
the shit.
Mickey on the phone and start distributing games.
You know, he
for
can't
crying
even
out
get
loud.
games lately. It's been so tight. I don't know what's going on.
His distributors are retarded.
Yeah.
He goes through Ingram and he goes through like Sam Serafi and all these other distributors, and they don't have anything to give him. It's like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I picked up Pirates of the Burning Sea, but I haven't actually played it very
I
much
heard
yet.
that was kind of cool.
Did you just like go through character creation? Or
Character creation, some of the intro missions. It is kind of cool how they do the
I'm
ship
still
stuff.
looking for an MMORPG
That's all
I might
pretty much
like. And
RTS on the ocean, right? Isn't it? But on like a more physical level.
Did you ever play?
Pirates?
Nah, shit. What was the name of that?
Rampart.
Wait! Did you ever play a Kamen Warrior?
Oh, did you ever play Earth and Beyond?
Yeah.
No.
It's very similar to Earth and Beyond in that there's two very separate. There's an avatar part and there's the combat
That was
part.
the pictures
and
I saw. Of
they're
it,
two different things.
You can see
entirely.
the decks of ships and firing and.
Yeah. I mean, there's two different things. I mean, the what you call it. The game is reviewed really well. I mean, it's gotten great reviews. The thing that's pretty consistently said is that the melee combat bites, and it kind of does.
I heard it had a pretty tough learning curve, but yet.
Well, the learning curve's not so bad, but this might be just because I played Eve for a long time, so it just doesn't compare at that point.
Anything more gradual
Yeah.
than the sheer cliff is really a solid plan.
But it's just that the melee combat system isn't very good.
Yeah.
Which is fortunate because all you got to do is keep firing your cannons and cutting down on the amount of crew that you have to fight to board a ship, and you're okay.
By the way, Steve, I was looking at
like a true
MMORPGs to
pirate.
try
Yeah.
that don't require me to be.
To grind until your old age.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah, you should totally pick up Final Fantasy XI. That
No, yeah.
sounds like the one
So I can get
Ragnarok
killed by-
Online is the game for you.
no, actually, I've been kind of looking at Guild Wars.
Well, did you like Diablo?
Yes.
You'll like Guild Wars.
because
It's
it's really
essentially the
not a
same
massively multiplayer
Yeah.
game.
And they have some great terms.
Well, also,
Kinda is.
well,
I mean,
It's
and,
got
and
a
also,
massively multiplayer lobby.
Yeah, the
yeah, but
towns
the thing
are
is,
MMOs.
yeah, but the thing is
Basically
that it's
the
like
Diablo chat room.
to max out at I think it's like level 70 is the max. Only takes like 10 hours. It was meant to be played quickly.
Well, they make it so that
well,
leveling up
that's-
is
that's
easier
not-
from person to person.
It's that the levels aren't very important in Guild
No.
Wars.
Yeah,
The thing-
true.
The thing about Guild Wars 2 is that they're kind of expansion happy, not as much as like Lineage.
Yeah, but,
But
you don't
they're
have
kind
to,
of
you don't have
expanding
to pay for a monthly service though.
Yeah.
You
That's-
don't,
there's a
but
trade-off.
But you can't play with other people if you don't have the same expansions.
I don't see this as a problem.
Well, I mean, sometimes
You
it's
can't
The
play
game
the
is
game
designed
on
to
your
be a
own.
multiplayer,
Okay,
basically.
keep in mind who you're
Yeah,
talking
you
to.
can't play the game on your own. So what's
you
the
can have a
point?
party, but you know. You
Yeah,
have
but the
NPC
thing
party,
is,
but
I looked at single
Really-
player experiences because it's like, okay, well, how much can I do without having to rely on any other clown?
really one of the greatest.
And I don't
things
really
about
have to rely on too many people in the game.
the Pirates of Burning Sea has a pretty good one player. You can do a lot of stuff as a one player. But Guild Wars, the problem that I've heard told from me from Sorlak, who played the game intensively for a period of time, is that once you hit that level cap, the loots are kind of not so hot anymore. There's not a whole lot of impetus to keep playing the game.
Yeah.
So really
Well, you're
they
not paying
switched
for
to
it, so it's
PvP
not
at
like
that
it's
point?
a.
PvP is not so hot, apparently.
That would be a bummer because
Yeah.
that sounded like what
Well,
half
the
the
reason
focus
why-
of the game was. So
PvP apparently in Pirates of the Burning Sea, however, is pretty cool. Plus, I really like the fact that in order to get shots on other ships, you have to maneuver your ship so that they're within the firing arc and range of your cannons.
ooh, ancient art of war at sea.
Yeah, it's really neat. Plus, when you fire your stuff. If you're firing something that's like not single cannon bolts, you get to see the damage that's being inflicted on the other ships. And
So it's
the
Rampart,
masts
the
will fall down
MMORPG
and
is
stuff.
basically what you're getting at.
Well, apparently, it's Pirates, the MMORPG.
Which should be
Sid
hard to
Meier's
have a better
Pirates.
pedigree than that.
So when's Monkey Island, the MMORPG, coming out?
Whenever LucasArts decides to make a
Game.
game of a
Full throttle, the
Maybe
MMORPG.
not a Star Wars IP game.
yeah.
Yeah, how'd the last one turn out?
Oh Jesus! I mean, they've got an
How long
MMO
has
just
it been?
waiting for them to convert it from X-wing versus Tie Fighter. I mean, X-wing versus Tie Fighter, online multiplayer.
It doesn't get much
space
better than
combat.
that, yeah.
And they put it out before people had cable modems. It's
That was a
Just
great,
bring
great
it out.
game.
It's sitting there. Update it. Give us some fancier graphics. Your latency ain't going to bite now.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it for Free Space 2. You can do it.
They did it for Wing Command. Oh, wait, no, they didn't. Do it
Except
for
Space
Wing Command.
Sims are dead, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's a sad thing.
Oh.
Although, Jumpgate Evolution might have some problems.
Right now.
It's like Earth and Beyond, except not.
Can't
Okay.
you, still play Armada, too? Microsoft Spaceflight 1?
You might be able to.
One more thing for the
Well, did they have a
podcast.
sequel for that?
I don't know.
I thought they did.
So one more thing for the podcast before we head out. It is St. Patrick's Day. Do we have any green games that we want to talk about?
What does that even mean?
Games with green characters or green games
made by
or-
Nickelodeon?
No, I don't think they did
the
you
horse
can't do that on
license
television
series,
game. I know they did Double Dare.
I did see Halo 3 is going to be coming out in a Lego version.
That was totally an April Fool's.
Battletoads.
I would totally buy
Best
that, though.
green game ever.
I'm sure you and many other
Or
people
Turtles.
would.
Yeah, Turtles. At least in Turtles, you could beat the game.
Yeah, true.
Battletoads was too hard.
Any game with green that you like, Brian?
I love the Turtles, man. I was enjoying that on Xbox
Now,
Live.
which Turtles game do you like? Is it the
The
Konami?
Super Nintendo version.
Okay, well, there's
That was
two.
I think
There's
that
a
was
fighting
Konami.
game, and then there's Turtles in
No,
Time.
not the fighting game. The Turtles in Time was the good
That's
one.
like
The
the one-
four-player was the best.
Any
Well,
green?
there was
The good
three of those four
side-scrolling
players.
beat 'em up, man. On the
Turtles
Super
in Time was
Nintendo.
the third Turtles multiplayer fighter beat 'em up game.
Yeah, that was the best one, I think.
Any,
It was the first one of its kind too to have the Mode 7 scaling, where you could grab an enemy, hit them, and they'd fly across
Yeah.
the screen and
Yeah.
slide down.
Any
That was
green
hilarious.
game that you like, John?
I don't know, Green Games? They ever do a Captain Planet game?
Oh yeah, I think it was on PC
Probably.
though, and it was god awful horrible.
No, I think it was a Super Nintendo one of that.
I'm thinking.
Could
I'm pretty
be.
sure they have.
There was a lot of green in Super Mario World and pickles.
Yoshi's Island.
You like how I made you go all the way around to get that joke in there?
Yoshi's green. He's got green in it. There are no pickles in
Pickles.
Super. Oh my god!
Did you see that article on Kotaku today about another Mexican raid?
What?
They raided some other, like 4 other Mexican factories and got 28,800 games and about 280 DVD burners. And one of the captions shows like one of the guys from like the Mexican Revolution, and he's wearing a hat that looks like a turtle, or like the little Mario helpers.
Toads.
Toads, yeah, it looks like a toadstool
toadstools.
hat.
What?
That was a great caption.
I must have missed that.
It's like one of the articles today's Kotaku.
I can't think of any other games.
Man,
that
they're
have green in
raiding,
them now.
pirating facilities in Mexico left and right. I mean, they've busted so many places out there.
Anyway,
Isn't that where they make most of the games? for
Apparently,
Microsoft?
because they keep finding them.
Oh, they got the little
They had
Made in
like,
Mexico
they said
stamp
the
on
article,
them.
there was 500 police at 4 different facilities
See,
that raided these places.
See, I guess the theory is that it's going to increase sales in Mexico. Is that what the deal is? 'Cause,
who knows?
I mean, I
It's definitely opening up the market for other pirators, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I'd have to try to find
Closing
a
the
pirated
competition.
physical disc, a pirated physical disc that I could actually buy that it was from Mexico.
You
I'd have to
gotta
try
go
pretty
to
hard.
certain game stores in Cali to find those.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to try pretty hard to
Because
do it.
we
you
found
know?
one in back, what was it, 96 when we went out to E3.
Yeah.
There was a little, I bought a pirated version of Tekken 2. And it worked great, all except for there was an audio error on the Bruce Lee stage. Knockoff of Bruce Lee. That was
But I think
that
you just
one
got
error.
that resurfaced and it worked.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but
It's really weird.
apparently not that hard to pirate games.
So, according to Insert Credit, next week is Blue Skies Week, where they talk about Sega. So I think we should. I think we should go into
Skies
the.
Week, where they
Skies
talk
of
about
Arcadia, or
Can
like-
they bag on Sega for a whole week? I mean,
Yes.
is that like fucking Konami Week?
Well, it's kind of like that, except we complain about what franchises should die, which should be our next week's
But
topic. So
Sega's
we'll start with
dead.
Sonic and go from there.
But Sega's dead. I mean, there's no talking about what should die. They're dead.
No,
They exist in
I don't
name
think
only.
they're. Well,
What was the last?
I'd
good
say a
game
lot of
that
their
Sega made?
key.
Last good game that Sega made, Virtua Fighter 5.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
heard good things about it. I haven't played it myself.
Sega games
like
now
Virtua
come out on
Fighter.
Nintendo systems. I think
Yeah.
that counts as being dead.
No.
No, I think they count
If the games are still coming out, they're not
Right,
dead.
you can't say
It's
that
like
about
if you
some of the
keep using a
games.
dead language, it's not really dead.
That's like saying Atari is still alive.
Well, Atari's dead.
Yeah,
And
this is
didn't
what I'm
Virtua
saying.
Fighter 5 come out like 2 years ago?
No, it came out like
Actually,
a
Atari's
month
not
ago
quite
on the
dead
Xbox
yet.
360.
Atari just released a
It
bunch
I
of...
have the
wasn't a
physical
month
disc.
ago. It was way.
No, it was about a month ago. It's been
Uh,
about a month because I've had my
Let me
I've
tell
had
ya,
my
I didn't know Virtua
Xbox
Fighter 5
360
came
since
out, so.
December, so I've only had it 3 months. So I got it within the month.
Atari isn't totally dead. I saw a thing that they just
Well,
released a bunch of their
name
games
isn't
on Steam.
No, who was it that
Well, the name
bought
isn't dead, but they've been bought like 7 times.
No, who's
Yeah.
it?
They're definitely watered down.
It was like the ex CEO of like EA or someone decided.
Trip
Oh,
Hawkins?
no, it was someone from EA or some company. I'll have to look it up. Who decided? Oh, I'll take charge of Atari. I like a challenge. It's like, oh, yeah, good luck with that.
That is something I didn't think about talking about, too, but it's probably something we ought to get into. I noticed there was a good article talking about the fact that with EA forcing the takeover of Take-Two, certain other game companies' stock has gone through the roof, like THQ. There's 2 others they talked about, too, because they're ripe for the picking from a company like EA where they can go in and just buy them out wholly. So now all these 3 or 4 other companies they were talking about, suddenly their stock is rising because people are anticipating them getting bought out.
I think the whole Take-Two thing is that, Take-Two has a bunch of sports franchises, and I think just EA is just trying to buy them
ready
out.
to release
shut 'em down.
a little game that you might have heard about.
GTA 4.
Yeah.
Well, also you
But they
gotta.
tried to take over. They tried to do a basic buyout, and
well, they're doing
Take-Two
a
was like,
hostile
you're
takeover now.
not giving us enough money for our stockholders, so now they're doing a hostile takeover.
But you
Take-Two's stock isn't
understand.
worth anything, though.
You got to understand though that
if
this rise of like EA, of people paying attention to EA and on the financial show, started in October. And the reason it started in October is because all the other stocks that people were holding were tanking, and so they sold them. And they're trying to find other markets to invest in, and they just, for some reason, day after day, for a couple weeks in October, November, we're hammering on EA. Oh, EA is doing great. So now it gets every other day on CNBC, somebody mentions EA for no reason that's any more special than it was in August.
Yeah.
It's just that now it's on the radar, so people see
Well,
it come
EA
up on
has
their
also
tickers
bought about
and-
3 or 4 companies that were doing
Well, it's
in
got
the
that
last couple
insane-
of
how many
years, too.
times, how many times do
They
they
keep
buy other
adding-
people, though, too? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
not that
apparently they're
it's
buying
stellar.
more of the right people lately.
It's
That's
got that
probably enough to
insane
justify
guy
it.
from Mad Money that's hitting the stopper.
Yeah, Jim Cramer. No, actually, it gets mentioned more on Fast Money, and Fast Money are folks that are trying to they try to find companies that are going up in their best of breed type things, but as soon as they decide that they've made enough money, they'll drop it, and you'll find EA just still go, and it'll drop down again. I mean, it's a periodic thing. Once people decide that the market in general has hit a bottom or something, they're going to dump EA because EA's market cap isn't nearly big enough to be, satisfying these institutional investors, and they'll start investing in something else again. And video games will totally fall off the radar for stock market, Wall Street again.
Well, the EA stock right now, according to the last stuff here from the NASDAQ, is $45.86 a share.
Disclaimer: we are not financial analysts, and
What's-
past performance is
what's-
no indicator for future.
Hold, before you do that, what's the PE ratio on EA?
The what?
The PE ratio?
82.30.
Holy crap! Yeah, okay, they're going to dump that pretty soon. That's a huge PE ratio.
The market share is $14.53 billion.
So you
That's its
think
market
EA
cap.
might just
That's a
be
lot of
capitalizing on their stock price now? And
Yeah.
MCX.
Yeah.
What are
Well, an 80, and when your PE ratio is at 80, that's ridiculous. That's like Google-sized PE ratios.
NCX?
MCX.
I don't know who those people are.
No, I got it backwards. Maybe it's MXC.
No,
Most
that's
Extreme
Most
Elimination
Extreme
Challenge.
Elimination.
No,
Their stock
it's,
is very high.
I had stock in Mad Cats last year. I just can't remember their ticker.
Their stocks are incredibly right, isn't that right? Oh,
Maybe
yes.
it's MXE.
Indeed.
Yeah, right you are.
Look up Mad Cats and just in general. I can't remember their
The,
ticker sign.
Yes. That's with their CEO,
sorry.
Vince Bubba Ganoush.
Wow, Mad Cat's 58 cents a share.
Wow, that's awesome. My broker pulled out right in time. He got me
Yay,
a
penny stocks.
I think he got about $300 or $400 out of that for me.
Yeah, in contrast, Microsoft is 28.30 cents a share.
Yeah, what's their PE ratio?
1490.
What's their market cap?
263.39 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, does it show
in,
what their cash on hand is?
No.
Yeah, it's more than market cap for EA.
Depending on whether or not they buy Yahoo.
Yeah.
Which, I hope they don't do because it just sounds retarded.
Yeah, it's like the dumbest thing
That's
ever.
going to be a way of a hostile takeover.
I hope that they, I hope that they either decide not to or they just do it and get it over with. Because I'm tired of listening to analysts talk about how Microsoft needs to buy Yahoo. I'm like, no, they really don't. And the only reason you're saying that is because you hold Yahoo and want it to do something.
Yeah.
You know?
You want to say, hey, look, I said to do something with Yahoo, and
yeah,
look what happened.
and look at it. Well, it went up, and then they can sell it, is what it is.
Well,
because Yahoo doesn't pay dividends, and if they could get at least some Microsoft stock out of it, at least Microsoft pays dividends.
That's the whole reason why Microsoft bought MSN.
And Steve, just out of contrast, Nintendo stock is $61.77 a share. Their PE is 24.
Yeah. What's their market cap?
They're a hardware company.
It doesn't say because it's OTC. It's a Japanese.
It's not going to show it.
Oh, you have to find the Nintendo of America stock then.
Nintendo of America doesn't have stock. It's that's just their Japanese.
Really? You can't get Nintendo stock on the U.S. stock market.
No,
they're not listed on NASDAQ or on.
No,
really? Yeah. I would think they would because Sony is.
I don't think so. Sony's different though.
Sony
has a wide
Sony
stuff they sell over here.
Sony is 40.88.
Yeah, but there's a different division for U.S. and Japan.
And
like
Steve,
Sony does.
Sony
has a
Sony is
wide array of
40.88 cents a share. Market cap 41 billion.
Yeah, so
their
they're like
14.20.
Their market cap's only like twice that of EA.
For America.
For Sony of America.
Let's see what Take-Two is doing.
Nothing. This is really fascinating, folks. Aren't you glad that you tuned into this video game thing so we could talk about
video game and stocks
video game and the stock market?
Do nothing for you. It's still a volatile market.
I mean, at least in Microsoft, they're paying you money every quarter. Yay, dividends are your friend.
At least there, if Microsoft's going to tank, you're going to see it coming.
Yeah. It's not going to be like Bear Stearns 4 days ago. Everything's fine.
JP Morgan's saving their asses, yeah.
Oh, they didn't really save their asses because kind of bought them.
They bartered the agreement from the government to get the loan.
Yeah, but that was great because the liability that JP Morgan has for that is
zero.
only it's not zero, but it's
almost zero.
The Federal Reserve will take all liabilities below $30 billion, and JP Morgan will take anything above $30 billion. It's like
and how much was the loan?
Well, and they basically they're getting it for their it's like a stock to stock exchange of like 0.05 something JP Morgan's for Bear Stearns. It's ridiculous. So it's like $2.
Well, and Take-Two's like 26.54. PE ratio 26.8.
You can't compare stock prices to other stock prices.
Well,
once
again,
they're kind of sort of in the same industry.
We are not
really
qualified to give any financial advice.
They're not
whatsoever.
They're kind of in the same sector if you widen your eyes really big.
Yeah. But if you want,
we're not jokers. We're jesters.
But if you want to invest money in Diehard Gamer Radio, please send us your little green slips of paper and mail them to the address will be on the website.
We also take shares in Bolivian suck mines.
Yes.
We have a PayPal account.
We'll take free penny stocks. That JP Morgan thing won't go through. Stockholders are never going to take $2 for a share. They'll follow the whole damn thing down and try to sue people before they do it. Anyway.
All right. Are we done?
I don't know. Are we? Are we at the end of the thing?
Yes, we are.
I think we were probably done about 15 minutes ago with all our stock stupidity.
Yeah, well...
Yes, we were.
Stocks are dumb.
I don't know anything about the stock market, so,
I only know when I make money.
Well, my bank account's positive, so I know I haven't lost any.
Well, that's not true. You can be positive and still lose money.
I have incredible
sold.
book value.
Oh, really now?
Yes.
Do you have a small carbon offset as well?
Yes.
In other words, he has stock in Barnes & Noble.
What? Yes, my book value is high. I own both Barnes & Noble and Borders. And
Diversify.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon.
Speaking of
Yeah,
Borders, did you see that
diversified
article
to
that
Amazon,
Borders
yes.
is going to start selling video games?
Yeah, well, don't they do that? It's called GameStop.
Well,
yeah.
apparently they want GameStops inside their bookstores now. Which means they're just going to sell games at marked up prices, just like DVDs, and it's going to be a fucking waste of
No,
time.
no, people are going to start searching for
stuff.
games by an
Just sell it
ISBN
retail.
number.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So-
don't know. You mark them up and then you put them on sale, and it looks like they're on sale because hey, it's 20% off the price we had them at. Well,
It's on sale for $49.99.
yeah.
Yeah, when people ask for the
Right.
latest Tom Clancy, they go right over to Rainbow Six. It's
Yeah. They
close
want
to his book.
Vegas too.
All right. Well,
I was looking for Hunting for October.
yeah.
Hunting, yes.
Hunting for October, starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
I was looking for the Battle
Goodwill Hunt for Red October.
It's a Greenpeace story. It is.
All right.
Thank you for listening to Die Hard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.